Happy Friday, everyone.
Let us know where you're streaming from. Let us know where you are streaming from.
We are back in the office.
Yeah.
Why are we in the office today?
It's hot outside.
It's hot, boss. It's hot.
Yeah, we're not trying to get too sticky right now. Sticky, icky.
And I was being just a tad bit lazy. I didn't feel like moving anything. Today it was just
it's kind of already
a
set
chill
up.
day.
It's kind of already set up, so you try to keep it as simple as possible.
Whoever doesn't know, JOMO actually does a prayer line every morning, Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you, babe.
I don't know
this is normally the background, right?
Yeah,
kind of, sort of.
Yes, we turn it around, switch it different directions every now and then. Put a backdrop in, turn it around, just try, keep it fresh. So if the
background looks familiar, it's because you've been on the prayer line.
You have been on the prayer line.
Yeah.
Praise God. So let us know where you're coming from. I see Tampa. I see Brandon. Praise God. God bless you.
God bless you.
All right.
Thank you all so much. I wanted to tell everybody too, as everyone's coming in, if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you already know the Ackee tree is ready. It's right.
It's bomb. We picked maybe 3 containers. Four bowls. 4 big bowls of Ackee we just picked, and we went back and cleaned it. And
it's a process.
It's a process.
It's a process to get all of it cleaned and then packaged and freeze it.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you have not done something with your significant other or your partner, your spouse, try to do something this week together. Make that a homework assignment.
Yeah.
Cook a dinner together, go for a walk together, watch a movie without your cell phones together. Do something that you spend time together, because the more time you spend together, the less you will have like these little inconsistencies of misunderstandings, because the more time you spend with somebody, the more you know their heart.
God willing.
God willing.
Well, if you don't know, my name is JOMO.
I'm CHARMAINE.
We've been married now 23 plus years, God willing, and we can continue to walk this path out. Been together 25 years. So we come together on Friday nights. Our whole goal is to be real, raw, and relevant in reference to relationships, and to give tips and clues on how you can improve and strengthen your relationship. Now, every Friday night, we also have a part of our program called Cousins Chronicles. And in Cousins Chronicles, we just talk about things that happen in our daily life that may help you deal with whatever challenge you may have, or just
it could
wisdom.
Be funny.
Yeah, it's funny. So this week's Cousins Chronicles, I didn't have any funny, but
you didn't have any funny ones.
We probably had some fun. I couldn't remember it. We were sitting in bed the other night, and I was giving her the state of the Cousins Union. So what I do is every now and then I give her a financial update of where we are, where we're going, and what's the plan. Now, the goal is Amos 3:3 says, how can 2 walk together unless they agree? So I always want to kind of keep her up to speed on where we are financially.
Right.
Also, are you still in agreement with the plan?
Right.
Oftentimes, I see people write a plan, but then one member of the party decides to go buy something that's outside of the plan. And
now, back in the day,
how back?
In the day, I'm thinking 10 years.
Okay, let me hear what you say first. Let me
10 years.
Let me hear what you say first.
I'm thinking it's 10 years. JOMO would say to me, like if I went and made some purchases and got us a little off budget for the month, he would come to me and say, now, babe, we set up a plan at the very beginning of the year to make sure that we end up at the end of the year here. Are we still in agreement with that plan? Because I see you made some purchases
that are out of order.
And sometimes he would say, whose team are you on?
Whose team? I want to know.
Are we on the same team? Are you on the opposing team, or are we on the same team?
Have you ever wondered that question to yourself when you set up a plan? Are we working together? Because we both said we're saving the money for the house, we're saving the money for the car, we're saving the money for the college fund, we're saving the money for whatever it may be. And then you see your spouse purchase something that takes you backwards versus forward.
Right.
So
now either you're returning something or you're making some adjustments for the next couple of months.
Or you get another job.
No. Or you're making some adjustments for the next
you
couple
get another
of
job.
months.
Pay that.
In order to make up for the money lost in that 1 month you decided to go AWOL.
Now, I just want to ask, are there any people out there who go AWOL with money?
Well, it's okay to go AWOL if you're doing it together. If you're doing
AWOL,
it together.
well, we have to define what AWOL is, Charmaine. AWOL means you are out of order.
You're missing in action.
No, you're missing in action. So there ain't no good missing in action. MIA, there's no positive MIA. When you MIA, there's a problem.
On the budget, if you all agree, then
the problem is if it's out of budget, we didn't agree about it.
Well, it just depends. Sometimes things happen. You have to make adjustments.
Oh, there's a sale.
No, I wasn't saying that. Like things that are uncontrollable.
No, shopping is controllable.
No, I'm talking about uncontrollable.
Okay, I see.
Things.
Okay, like a medical emergency.
Right. But that doesn't always have to be something that takes you off budget if you prepared for emergencies.
So emergency funds.
Yes.
Valid point. Yes. Okay, cool. So we talked about it, and
he asked me if I was in agreement.
Yeah, I said, is that cool? Was that the plan? Because again, it makes no sense us working together if you're not in agreement.
Right.
We need to have our vision needs to line up. Remember, for a successful relationship, you have to have one vision.
Right.
Two visions is division. Division is leads to divide, and divide leads to divorce. So we want to make sure that we have one vision. Also, man, I was supposed to go to Jamaica. Yes,
we were supposed to go to Jamaica.
That is true. It is a week, but it's my birthday.
We're going for his birthday, but
my birthday's next week, and I was supposed to go to Jamaica on Monday. From Monday to Friday, I was going to be at my resort, eating my food, just chilling on the water.
Some coconut.
Oh my God.
Coconut rum.
Whatever.
Now, JOMO does not drink, but when we're in Jamaica, they have this guy that comes around with this cart full of these coconuts, and I don't know if they freeze them overnight, and he puts them in this. It's not a wheelbarrow; it's like a wagon.
Yes.
And they're all cold, and he opens that coconut up.
Yes.
And
Lord.
Then they pour straight rum in the coconut water, and then they put a straw in it and give it to you. Now, I'm not saying he ever drinks, but he does drink coconut rum. We're in Jamaica.
So you don't tell people all my business. Now, for some of you religious folk, don't listen. Listen. Don't
be judging.
Yeah, when I go on my little birthday, I may taste some wine. It's all listen.
A Bob Marley.
Oh my gosh, I love my.
But I don't know if that's alcoholic.
It's a slushy. It's a slushy with a little something in it. Praise God. Hey, listen.
I mean, in Jamaica, even like red Kool-Aid has alcohol.
Listen.
It's no such thing.
Listen,
Punch.
What happens in Jamaica stays in Jamaica. But I ain't going to Jamaica, so I'm not going.
No, Jamaica is shut down. Jamaica's shut down. They're trying to keep Jamaica safe.
From who? From me?
Yes.
But anyway.
Yes. From everybody.
So tonight, what we want to talk about is the 3 hardest words people struggle to say in relationships.
Right.
I have 3. There's probably many more, but
absolutely,
what I wanted to focus on tonight was, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Right.
And lastly, I need help. So we're going to start with the first one.
Why do you think, though, that these 3 things are the hardest things? I mean, these are the 3 things that you thought about first. Why do you think it's so hard for people in relationship to say these things?
I think, first off, I am sorry implies I've made a mistake. And for most of us, we don't think that we make mistakes.
Right.
So it takes a certain amount of humility to say, I am sorry.
Right.
And then the other problem I see is most people don't think they're wrong.
Right. You don't see yourself.
Yeah, I think.
Until you with somebody else.
Yeah, I think it's Beyonce. What's Beyonce's song? I ain't sorry. I ain't sorry. Yeah, most people really feel that way. I ain't sorry.
Sorry, but I ain't sorry.
So, and I know
I think you hit the nail on the head with humility. I mean, it takes a really humble person to say, I need help. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It takes someone humbling themselves and letting pride go, which is very hard to do sometimes. And it also, it makes people rethink their point of view, because you have to think of somebody else's point of view in order to see that you may not, sometimes our opinions are one-sided.
Correct. Like that. It's funny. I had one of my brothers call me today, and he wanted my feedback. He says, Jomo, you're the person I can talk to who can see both sides and give me a straight opinion balance. Mm-hmm. And I said, and we were talking about forgiveness. And he says, man, you know the whole story. How do I let it go? Right. I said, well, first off, I said, you're the bigger person. And you have to understand not everyone is Christ-like. Mm-hmm. So to be Christ-like, I have to be willing to forgive. Right. And that's hard. But we have to remember the two things every mature believer has to master. Mm-hmm. Very simple. I say it all the time, but the two things every mature believer has to master is forgiveness and confession. Right. You have to be willing to say, listen, I blew it. I made a mistake. Mm-hmm. And also be able to receive someone's mistake and say, listen, I let it go. Right. Now, if you can't master these things, it's going to be very difficult to have a relationship. Why? Guess what? I know Charmaine is beautiful. I know she's all these super things, but guess what? She is slightly irregular. Okay, and I am slightly irregular, and I have some as is issues. Right. So all of us have some flaws that make it difficult to work together. Right. Okay. Right. And you have to be willing to endure and make mistakes and confess and forgive and make mistakes and forgive, because guess what? I am me. And I know I have some issues, and I mean, God helped me with me. Right. I don't know about you, but God helped me with me.
Sometimes it's hard to acknowledge the fact that, you have an issue and that you have to work on it personally. Especially in a relationship. Sometimes you're like, okay, well, it seems like this same thing keeps coming up, over and over and over again. This is the area that I need to work on personally. So we're not having this conflict in our relationship. But I think too, when you're talking about forgiveness, we all need to remember that depending on what the infraction was, forgiveness takes time, and forgiveness is a process. You don't just wake up one day and say, you know what? I forgive you. Or don't, even when you say to your spouse, I forgive you, that moment, that second, it doesn't automatically just go away. It's still a process of prayer, asking God to help you remove it. It takes time. So I want everyone that's married to know that if you cause an infraction and your spouse says, I forgive you, don't go full force into allow them to process and allow them to ask questions, still allow them to go through the process of forgiveness without judgment.
The challenge with infractions is the residual. Yeah. The person may say, I'm sorry, but don't get shocked in the middle of the night, somebody punching you. I mean, the memories. Triggers. Yeah. And you will have to navigate through some significant triggers if you make a mistake. Now, it just is what it is. Now, of course, it's based on the level of mistake or infraction, the kind of triggers you may have come back to you. But you have to be mindful with this process that when we make mistakes, there's consequences. Right. And sometimes God gives you grace and people forget, or, you don't get found out. But most times you have to deal with that thing. Right. So understanding that two flawed people trying to live a saved life is going to have a lot of roadblocks in it. And we have to be able to receive each other and learn how to say these words. Listen, I'm sorry. Now I know some people, you say I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you're right. You are sorry. And see, now it's spiraled out because we have to have a healthy environment. Because if the environment's not healthy,
a person's not gonna want to say sorry.
A person's not gonna want to say sorry.
Because if you're gonna beat them up after they've already humbled themselves, they already put themselves under the bus. Now you're gonna take the keys, crank it up, and roll over them and back up and roll. And they're like, look, I don't even want to go through that. I don't even want to apologize because. And how many times have we heard that in, like a counseling session? You're like, I didn't even want to go there with her, or I didn't want to go there with him because I knew that they're just gonna, like plow through it. And allow somebody to come to you and humble themselves, and you just accept it.
How is it? I got a question for y'all. How is it that we want forgiveness, but we can't give forgiveness?
I think we can give forgiveness. I just think it's hard to like live it out, because you have forgiveness is living it out, not bringing it up again. That doesn't mean it doesn't go through your mind every now and then. That doesn't mean that you're not scarred, but it means that, you can still look at that person. Like when you have total forgiveness, you can still look at that person and not see the infraction. That's when you have mastered the forgiveness of that. And I shouldn't say, I'm going to retract what I said before. And I said, sometimes we have to just accept what they're saying, depending on what the infraction is. Like if it's infidelity, that's a process of, okay, how can we not go back here again? And then that's a process of going through the expectation exercises again, and maybe setting up some guardrails in our relationship, because maybe our partner has an issue with certain things and we need to help them with that. So
good point.
I don't want somebody to just take what I said
and what she meant. And if you don't understand what expectation exercise means, it means maybe the infraction was caused, or it was not caused, but it happened based on an unmet need.
Right.
So we try to have expectation exercise towards we can communicate what our need is. Because see, if the need is not being met in the relationship, oftentimes people find that need met outside the relationship, which should not happen. So example, you say, what, I want to do something different. Well, you need to communicate with your spouse. Hey, I want to do something different versus just.
I feel like our relationship is stagnant.
Yes, I'll try to do something different. So, I mean, I got hit with that recently in my head. I was like, you know what? I need to do something different. Just in my head, okay, maybe I'm getting too comfortable in this area. And so you have to always be asking, what, are we on the same page in reference to, are you getting your needs met?
Right. And making sure that the connection stays fresh, because a lot of times if you've been married, for some time, you can get complacent in your schedule, with your job, your marriage, your routine of taking kids to school, picking them up from school, homework and stuff like that. And you don't really focus on the connection with your spouse like you need to. So just doing those checks, I think is vital to a relationship.
Well, it's critical. I mean, because I know like today, we went to go walk this morning. Then the rain happened.
Started raining.
So we came back in and we ended up working on the patio.
Right.
And we tried to do things together. We did something this morning together, and then we went picking fruit in the evening together.
Right.
So different ways that we can find to connect and just do things together.
Right.
Try to minimize the static.
Right.
So thank God we are pretty quick to confront and pretty quick to forgive. Right. One thing I've learned too is I want to make sure that I keep my grace account full. Lamentations 3 says that his grace and mercy are fresh and new every day. So if God gives us fresh grace and mercy every day, we should try to also give fresh grace and fresh mercy every day.
That's good.
One of the key things I try to do to the best of my ability is to assume that what Charmaine is doing to me, for me, is with the best intent.
That's good.
So if you assume the person's intent towards you was good, you're less likely to get into offense.
Right.
The Bible says to take no offense, meaning you have to take it wrong. Now, they might have meant it right, but you don't have to take it as a negative.
Right.
You could just say, you know what? Maybe they're tired.
Right.
Maybe they're having a bad day. Let me just give grace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes it's just a miscommunication, poor communication, or I'm frustrated, or I'm tired. And it may not be you, but it may be a situation. So give grace.
Right.
Don't get in your feelings.
I also think too, one of the reasons why couples may have a hard time, or a spouse may have a hard time saying I'm sorry or forgiving, is competition. Competition in relationships can be very toxic because you're competing against the person you're supposed to be one with. So when you do that, you totally ruin that oneness, because now it's separation there. Correct. It's you and me. It's me against you. And you see that a lot when couples will say, well, you know, I did this and you did that, instead of we went here. You know,
that's a lot of ego though.
Right.
Ego.
What do you say? Complete, not compete.
We should try to complete each other versus compete each other.
Right.
Ego, an acronym. This doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's an acronym. Easing God out. Whenever you ease God out, you let pride in.
Right. Just like trying to win a conversation. Correct. Or win an argument versus just letting it go. It's not that big of a deal.
You don't have to win every battle.
Right.
You got to choose your battle.
Right. And we always say when you win, a lot of times you lose because the other person's hurt or they're upset. And was it really worth it?
Correct. So if there is an issue that you want to address, okay, now 3 options I see. You could ignore the issue. You could endure the issue, or you could try to cure the issue.
Endure it.
Okay, so
ignore,
who wants to do that? Endure, or cure. Again, I could ignore the issue.
Right.
I could endure the issue, and I could try to cure the issue. We know some family, and the wife said, Lord Jesus, don't let him start talking. Don't let him start talking. He'd be here all day long. So the wife would walk away and say, he started talking, didn't he? And so what is she doing? In my mind, she's enduring, you know, because she's just like, and we've all had that person that, you know, they may be loquacious or a talkative person, or or they think they're funny, you know what I'm saying? And they just keep on making jokes like, stop, versus saying, listen, babe, when we go out,
we have like a code or something.
Yeah. Let's a 1 joke minimum. A 1 joke minimum, or whatever it is.
There was a wife that I knew that had these cards made. They were like business cards, right? And her discreet way of getting her husband to stop talking or don't talk about a certain subject is she would pass in a business card, and the business card would say, stop talking. And it would be like very discreet. But she passed it to me one time, and I bust out laughing. We were with some girlfriends. I bust out laughing because I was like, who do you give these to? And she said, I give them to my husband.
Wow.
Whenever he's talking about something he shouldn't, or he hurts my feelings, I just pass him a little card. Wow. And I was like, wow, you had cards made.
So can we do cards for everything? I need some.
Sex.
I want to go.
I need you to cook dinner tonight.
I mean, that'd be really cool. Well, I guess
I don't know. I don't know. I think I might take offense. Just tell me.
You would take offense.
Just tell me. I mean, if we're with somebody, of course not. Like if we're out and about, but don't be passing me no card talking about you want me to cook dinner or you want to have sex. Pull me to the side. Let's have a conversation, because I tell you, you ain't getting none. No, I'm joking.
Okay. We're going to give you all 4 points and get out of here.
Okay.
Why is it so hard to say I'm sorry? Number one, who likes to admit they're wrong? Nobody want to say they're wrong. But the reality is we all fall short of glory. Yeah. We all make mistakes. Yeah. And you have to be willing to humble yourself.
And sometimes your mistakes are funny. And it's very healthy to laugh at yourself too.
Yeah, you gotta laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
Number two, fear of rejection. I struggle with this.
You think I'm gonna reject you, babe?
No, sometimes the ego is built on certain aspects of who you are. Okay. So if I were not at a certain level, I think it bothers me. I want to excel at everything. Okay. So if I don't excel at everything, it bothers me. Now, I know this is crazy. Okay. I understand this. I want to be the best at pretty much everything I do. It doesn't work out that way, but I'd like to be the best at everything I do. So sometimes you don't want to admit your deficiency or because I know, for example, I had a hard time with my mother passing. I just couldn't talk properly. Now, I'm not saying that's not normal. I'm just saying I just didn't know if I felt embarrassed to be in a spot where I could not basically man up in that area. You know what I mean? Which is, I should be totally, but I put that in my head and I realized so much of our issues are in our head versus just remember the person has your best intent. Right. Number three, this is me, a sign of weakness. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's like crying. I know I cry a lot, so I'm just saying I'm not judging anybody.
Right.
I'm just saying that oftentimes we see that as a sign of weakness.
Right. I think that's a man thing.
I'm broken, so let me go. I cry pretty quickly.
And I think I've heard some women say that in business, like they can't, see somebody, they can't, portray weakness and apologize for certain things because they're in a male-dominated industry. That's
true, and then you see some women overcompensate for that,
right?
And they are really rigid, and then it jacks up the house at home,
right? Because they can't turn it off.
Correct. So they built themselves up to be who they needed to be to success in the business arena or the job space, but that doesn't work in the house space,
right?
And we see this. This is like so prevalent right now, where we have strong, educated women who are bosses.
Yeah. And they want to make decisions.
And they want to run
in every area.
And they come home.
Because they know.
And they come home and they trying to regulate.
Yeah.
Regulators, mount up. It was a clip like that. Yeah. So anyway.
That was Warren G.
Warren G. Yeah.
90s
back in the day. All right. And the last one, it's our pride. The bottom line for it all, of all these situations where we cannot say I'm sorry,
right?
Please forgive me, is pride.
And pride comes before the fall.
A haughty spirit. Yeah.
Haughty spirit.
Yeah. But the gist of it is we are too high-minded and we think too much of ourselves. That's not a bad thing to think about yourself, but understand when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Right.
And own it. Don't apologize with I'm sorry, but if you didn't do this, I'm sorry, but or here's another one. You made me do.
Yeah. Own your part and don't worry about whether they're going to own their part in whatever the situation is. Because if they don't see their part in it, you're not going to, in that space, make them see their part as you're apologizing.
Correct.
Because that's not a true apology.
You cannot make somebody apologize and think it be genuine.
Right.
You got to let it come out of them, because sometimes we get these forced apologies. I call them hostage videos. Okay, I'm sorry. You ain't sorry, man. But you're just trying to placate. And I've had that too, where I've said it and Charmaine won't even take it. She's like, you just saying sorry so we can stop arguing. And I'm not
even arguing, but it'll be like you don't want to talk about it anymore.
Same difference. Talk about it.
Talking about it and arguing is two different things.
No, it's the same thing. It's just different. You beg different.
Let me know if you're on the line right now. Do you believe talking about something and arguing is two different things? Give me a CC if you feel like those are two different things, and do a JC if you feel like arguing and talking is the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just how you construe it.
No, it's not.
It's how people see it.
Because you could have a conversation with somebody and not be agreeing with them and it not be an argument. Because I talk to my girlfriends all the time and we're disagreeing on whatever the topic is, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're arguing. An argument is a different thing.
I Googled it.
Okay, Google.
An exchange of diverging opposite views. Just different opinions.
Yeah.
It could be talking and arguing. Could be the same things.
No, it can't be the same things. We'll see. We'll do a poll.
We'll do the poll, whatever y'all say.
Well, this was a great topic, babe.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Thank you all so much for spending time with us this Friday night. Remember,
what are they gonna see? What are they supposed to do?
We have a YouTube channel called JOMO and CHARMAINE. And if you're on there now, please give us a thumbs up. If you have not gone on our YouTube channel, please do that and subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
Hit that notification button. So whenever we're on, you will know. And whenever we upload a video, they will notify you. So you can watch.
Absolutely. Now, let's leave. Remember, love, laugh, and learn.
God bless you.
God bless you. Have a wonderful night.
All right.